and excitement, a physical reaction that feels impossible to ignore. Chances are you've experienced it, and more than likely, you've also found yourself wondering, even if only for a fleeting moment, whether that person feels the same way about you. Today, I invite you to open your mind, to go beyond the surface and embark with me on a profound inner journey. Together, we'll dive deep into the mysteries of the unconscious, guided by the revolutionary insights of the Swiss psychologist Carl Gustav Jung. Through his ideas, we'll explore a hidden world of subtle yet powerful signals that may be silently telling you something extraordinary, that the person who's been on your mind might, in fact, feel something much stronger for you than you ever imagined. According to Carl Jung, much of human communication doesn't occur through words. Instead, it unfolds quietly in the realm of the unconscious. It's in the movements, the gestures, the lingering glances, and in those fleeting behaviors that often escape the awareness of our conscious minds. Yet paradoxically, they carry the most truthful expressions of what a person is really feeling. When someone harbors genuine feelings for you, their unconscious often betrays their deepest emotions before their words ever do. So, what should you be looking for? There are certain unmistakable signs, subtle yet potent, that can confirm, almost without a doubt, that someone feels a deep connection with you. These signs may seem small on the surface, but their implications are profound, and once you begin to notice them, they can completely transform the way you perceive your relationship with that person. Let's begin with one of the most revealing and mysterious signs: the way they look at you. Jung believed that the eyes are not just windows to the soul, they're portals to the unconscious. The gaze, he said, is an uncontrollable mirror of our inner world, one that often reveals what words attempt to conceal. So ask yourself, how does this person look at you? Pay very close attention. Do they maintain eye contact with you longer than what would normally be expected? That lingering gaze, that subtle refusal to look away, is not random. When someone feels a deep, authentic attraction, their eyes instinctively try to connect with yours, as if searching for something hidden within them. It's as though they're scanning your soul for clues, longing to understand you more fully, more intimately. And there's more. Watch carefully for a specific physiological response, one that the person themselves might not even be aware of. Observe the pupils. When someone is in the presence of something, or someone they find deeply attractive, their pupils dilate. This expansion is not something they can fake. It is a spontaneous, biological reaction, one governed entirely by the unconscious mind. It happens when we're moved by desire, fascination, or a strong emotional pull. That simple, involuntary dilation of the pupils is one of the most genuine, revealing indicators of attraction. It's a silent declaration of interest, unspoken and uncontrollable. The person may not say a word about how they feel, but their eyes might already be telling you everything. The second sign is even more subtle, yet incredibly powerful. Carl Jung believed that our unconscious mind is constantly striving to be near that which attracts us or reflects some deep part of our identity. It's not a conscious decision. It's more like an invisible force pulling us closer to what resonates with our inner world. This attraction goes beyond mere physical or superficial interest. It's a reflection of something much deeper, the alignment between two psyches, a mirror of something familiar yet longed for. Now ask yourself, does that person consistently find reasons, no matter how trivial, to be around you? Do they keep showing up in places where you often go, as if by coincidence? Do they ask questions that seem almost unnecessary, just for the sake of initiating interaction? Maybe they brush against your arm while talking, or gently touch your shoulder as if it's part of the conversation. These seemingly insignificant actions are anything but random. Jung explained that such behaviors are outward expressions of unconscious desire. The human psyche, according to him, has a language of its own, a silent way of communicating through actions, proximity, and energy. When someone is genuinely interested in you, their unconscious seeks not only closeness, but a fusion of emotional worlds. That subtle physical contact, that almost imperceptible touch, is a symbolic gesture, an attempt to reduce the emotional distance between you both. These actions are signals, whispers of the unconscious trying to establish a connection that words alone cannot express. They are not deliberate in the conventional sense, but they are intentional in the deeper psychological realm. A truly interested person, one who feels drawn to you on an emotional and psychological level, won't always declare it with grand gestures or confessions. Instead, their inner self will push them to move closer, to create shared moments, to break the invisible barriers that separate strangers from soulmates. This is why you might feel that their presence is never far from yours. It's not just coincidence, it's resonance. When someone's unconscious is attuned to yours, they will gravitate toward you, whether they fully realize it or not. These small behaviors, the gentle touches, the chance meetings, the seemingly unnecessary questions, are all part of the same silent language. They are evidence of a desire for intimacy that runs deeper than surface attraction. In Jungian terms, this is not merely about liking someone. It's about the self recognizing the other as meaningful, as familiar, as essential. The unconscious mind is searching for emotional connection, for the possibility of merging with another in a way that transcends words. So, the next time someone finds reasons to be close to you, physically or emotionally, don't dismiss it. It might just be their soul trying to speak to yours. The third sign lies in how someone responds to your emotions. When a person truly feels something deep for you, even the slightest shift in your mood won't go unnoticed. They become finely attuned to your emotional state, sometimes even before you've said a single word. It's as if they can sense your inner world without needing any explanation. This sensitivity is not coincidental. It's a profound reflection of how deeply they are connected to you, emotionally and psychologically. Carl Jung once explained that at the unconscious level, people naturally develop a heightened sense of empathy toward those they genuinely care about. This means that someone who harbors real feelings for you won't just react to your emotions, they will feel them with you. They'll intuitively recognize when you're happy, when you're hurting, or when something just doesn't feel right. And more importantly, they won't ignore it. They won't brush it off as if it doesn't matter. Instead, they'll respond with a sincere desire to understand what's going on inside you. Now take a moment to reflect. Think about those instances when your day has been heavy, when life has thrown something difficult your way, and you felt overwhelmed or emotionally drained. What did that person do? Did they try to distract you with light-hearted conversation? Did they offer a shoulder to lean on, or simply sit with you in silence, letting you know you weren't alone? Maybe they offered comforting words, a small gesture of kindness, or even just listened without judgment. These actions, though subtle, reveal something deeply meaningful. When someone makes a real effort to lift your spirits or provide genuine comfort, not because they feel obligated, but because your pain matters to them. That's a powerful signal. It shows that their interest in you goes far beyond surface-level attraction or fleeting curiosity. They are emotionally invested. They are connected to you in a way that transcends words or appearances. This kind of presence, this kind of care, is not easy to find, and when it's real, it resonates on a much deeper level, one that touches the core of who you are. So pay attention to those moments when someone chooses to show up for you emotionally, especially when you're not at your best. Their empathy, their concern, and their desire to see you feel whole again. Those are the signs that their feelings for you are not just genuine, but profoundly rooted in something real. The fourth sign is deeply tied to the idea of synchronicity. Renowned Swiss psychologist Carl Jung introduced the concept of synchronicity to describe a phenomenon where two seemingly unrelated events appear to be meaningfully connected, not by cause and effect, but by their profound symbolic or emotional resonance. It's as if life itself is orchestrating certain moments to align perfectly, creating a sense that something greater is at play, something beyond logic, something that touches the soul. Now, take a moment to reflect on your encounters with this particular person. Think carefully about how often your paths cross, in the most unexpected yet meaningful ways. Have you noticed that the two of you seem to share remarkably similar tastes, interests, or even thoughts? Sometimes it feels almost uncanny, as though you're looking into a mirror. You might find yourselves completing each other's sentences, thinking the same things at the same time, or expressing feelings in ways that seem to come from a shared emotional source. These are not just random coincidences. They are signals of something deeper unfolding beneath the surface. When that person frequently remarks things like, "What a coincidence," or seems genuinely surprised by how much the two of you have in common, it's a reflection of an unconscious recognition. It's as if both of your inner worlds are resonating at the same frequency. What you are truly experiencing is not just compatibility. It's an invisible thread pulling you both toward each other, weaving your lives together in a way that feels destined. This profound connection is not born from surface-level attraction or intellectual understanding alone. It emerges from the unconscious, that vast, hidden part of our minds that Carl Jung spent his life exploring. The unconscious has a mysterious way of guiding us toward people who awaken something deep within us, who mirror aspects of ourselves that we may not even be fully aware of. And when two unconscious minds recognize each other, even if the individuals themselves cannot fully explain why, the bond that forms is intense, almost magnetic. These invisible threads spun by the unconscious are not accidental. They serve a purpose. They bring souls together who are meant to help each other grow, heal, and evolve. The universe seems to conspire in their favor, arranging events, timing, and circumstances that defy rational explanation. It's as if life is saying, "Pay attention, this matters." So if you feel this kind of synchrony with someone, if your interactions are filled with strange alignments, shared dreams, or parallel life experiences, take it seriously. Such encounters are rare and significant. They often signify that the two of you are not just passing ships in the night, but rather travelers meant to journey together for a time, perhaps even for a lifetime. These are the moments when you realize that destiny may not be a myth after all, but a quiet force moving just beneath the surface, waiting for you to notice. The fifth sign is all about body language. According to Carl Jung, Our bodies communicate what the unconscious wants to express, even when we try to conceal it with our conscious minds. The body becomes a messenger of hidden truths, often revealing more than words ever could. Pay close attention to how this person behaves physically when they're with you. Do they adopt open postures? Are their arms and legs uncrossed? Is their torso facing you directly, maybe even leaning slightly in your direction? These subtle gestures are not random. They're indicators that, on an unconscious level, this person is open to you, emotionally available, and perhaps even drawn to your presence. But it doesn't stop there. Have you ever noticed if this person unconsciously mirrors your movements or gestures? This phenomenon is known as unconscious mirroring or mimicry, and it's a powerful, non-verbal sign of empathy and deep connection. It's not something done deliberately. Rather, the body naturally seeks to align itself with the other person when a true emotional bond begins to form. When someone is genuinely interested in you, their physical behavior synchronizes with yours in a silent yet deeply meaningful way. It's as if both of you are engaged in an invisible dance, creating harmony that doesn't need to be spoken to be felt. Up to this point, we've uncovered several clear signals that can reveal far more than you might have imagined. These cues, though subtle, can communicate volumes about someone's emotional openness and internal world. But there's more. Jung identified additional signs, equally powerful, that may surprise you even more. These next insights could radically change the way you understand human relationships, and more importantly, how you interpret the signals you're receiving from that special person who may mean more to you than you realize. And this is where a deeper, more mysterious dimension begins to emerge, the realm of the collective unconscious that Jung so often explored in his work. There exists a type of connection that becomes evident not through words, but through the way someone listens. When a person is truly present with you, not just physically, but emotionally and spiritually, something remarkable begins to unfold. Their silence isn't empty. It's charged with presence. They're not simply waiting for their turn to speak. Instead, they're absorbing every word you say, fully immersed in your experience, as if your thoughts have become their priority in that moment. This kind of listening, what we call active listening, doesn't require exaggerated gestures or dramatic reactions. It flows effortlessly, born from a place of genuine curiosity and emotional openness. It's a form of internal surrender that reflects not obligation, but a true desire to know who you are beyond your surface. According to Jung, when someone takes on the role of an archetypal figure in our lives, like the anima or the animus, which represent the feminine and masculine energies within the psyche, something profound happens. The soul begins to recognize something in the other. It's a kind of internal acknowledgement that transcends logic, almost like meeting a piece of yourself in another form. You may start to feel that this person is strangely familiar, as if you've known them long before you actually met. There's an inexplicable comfort in their presence, a sense of home that defies explanation. And when you're with them, time behaves differently. Minutes feel like moments, or sometimes like eternities. Even after they leave, their energy seems to linger around you, like an echo that refuses to fade. You find yourself thinking about them, feeling their presence, sensing a pull that's not entirely rational. Don't ignore that feeling. It's not just romantic fantasy. It's your unconscious responding with intensity, recognizing something that goes far beyond the ordinary. This isn't coincidence, it's resonance. The unconscious, deep and wise, speaks in symbols, feelings, and energy. When it meets something or someone that vibrates at a similar frequency, it responds powerfully. This is not just emotional attraction, it's psychological recognition. Jung believed that such encounters are meant to awaken parts of us that have been dormant, to help us grow, to heal, and to evolve. These people come into our lives not by accident, but by a kind of psychological necessity. They mirror parts of ourselves we may not fully understand yet, inviting us to a deeper self-awareness. So if you find yourself drawn to someone in a way that feels different, almost mystical, take a step back and observe. Listen to your body, notice your thoughts, and feel into the energy that surrounds your interactions. The body never lies. The unconscious is always speaking, even when we think we're in control. And sometimes, when we're lucky enough, we meet someone who helps us hear that inner voice more clearly than ever before. Another powerful sign arises during moments of vulnerability. Pay attention to whether this person feels comfortable sharing their doubts, fears, or past wounds with you. Jung taught that the soul only opens up to what it perceives as safe, as something that feels like an extension of itself. If someone begins to reveal who they truly are with you, without masks, even confessing things they've never told anyone else, you're witnessing a very clear manifestation of deep trust and genuine emotional interest. And let's not forget something essential: how that person reacts when you share your achievements, your ideas, or your dreams. Jung spoke of individuation as the process of realizing one's true self. If this person supports you, pushes you to grow, and celebrates your progress as if it were their own, that's not just kindness. It's a form of emotional connection that emerges from the unconscious, where who you are at your core holds sacred value for the other. But there's also a sign that, although it may seem contradictory, is actually one of the most revealing: discomfort. Sometimes someone who feels something very deep for you doesn't know how to handle it and may act with a kind of emotional clumsiness. They might appear nervous, avoid eye contact at key moments, or even seem distracted. Jung explained that what is repressed in the unconscious often shows itself in ambivalent ways. So, if you notice contradictions in how they behave, if one day they seem very close and the next more distant, it may not be disinterest. It could be an inner struggle playing out inside them. The unconscious energy is powerful. Often, without realizing it, our dreams begin to be filled with that person's presence. Jung analyzed dreams as open windows into the soul. And when someone appears repeatedly in our dreams, it's a sign that this person holds a deep psychic role in our inner world. Maybe you haven't fully noticed it yet, but if you're dreaming about this person and those dream encounters feel intense, emotional, or meaningful, the unconscious is telling you something your mind hasn't yet fully processed. And beyond the psychological, Jung linked this with the spiritual. When one soul is touched by another, the body reacts too. Subtle changes in your heartbeat, that sense of feeling more alive when that person is near, or an odd serenity when you simply hear their voice. These are psychosomatic manifestations that reveal a profound emotional resonance. It's not fantasy, and it's not self-suggestion. It's a symphony between your unconscious and theirs, playing notes that words often can't explain. True interest isn't always expressed through clear declarations or classic romantic gestures. Sometimes it hides in what seems insignificant: a long pause before saying goodbye, a random question about your most personal likes, or a smile that appears for no reason when they see you. Each of these gestures may be orchestrated by the deepest layers of the unconscious, where the most authentic and lasting connections are forged. And there are still more signs that Carl Jung helped to decipher. Signs that most people overlook because they sit right on the edge of the invisible. Let's go even deeper into that hidden universe, because what comes next could open your eyes in a way you never imagined. There are moments when the mind runs out of words, but the body keeps on speaking. Jung believed the unconscious expresses itself through symbolism, and that includes subtle physical reactions. Pay attention if that person touches their neck, adjusts their clothes, runs a hand through their hair, or fidgets with an object while with you, without realizing it. These gestures aren't random. They reveal an internal tension between what they feel and what they cannot say. These movements come from the urge to control emotions that are becoming too intense to contain. Even awkward or clumsy speech can be a clue. Notice if the person says things out of place, contradicts themselves, or laughs unexpectedly. This isn't just regular insecurity, it's a defensive reaction from the unconscious, trying to protect what they feel without revealing it entirely. Jung taught that when the conscious and unconscious collide, the truest emotions are born. If you notice that conflict in how they speak to you, it might mean what they feel is stronger than they're able to process. There's something else often overlooked: the need to remember. If this person recalls tiny details you've already forgotten, things you said in passing, your favorite food, a place you only mentioned once, don't take it lightly. Remembering is an act of the soul when there's affection. When someone truly likes us, their unconscious attention sharpens and they begin to record what comes from us as if it were precious. That selective memory reveals more than words could ever say. And then there's a sign you can't see, but you can feel: anticipation. You'll notice they somehow respond before you even speak. They offer you a jacket before you feel cold. They ask if you've eaten before you say you're hungry. They message you at the exact moment you were thinking about them. It's not telepathy, it's unconscious connection. Jung spoke of subtle energetic fields, of how our emotions can extend beyond the body and reach others without physical contact. If someone anticipates your needs, it means they're perceiving you beyond the surface. Sometimes, what the unconscious can't hide shows itself through the music that person listens to, the books they start reading, or the quotes they share. Without realizing, they're beginning to resonate with your interests, your ideas, your symbols. This isn't coincidence. Jung described this as psychic transference, a process where two inner worlds start influencing each other. If you notice that your preferences start to show up in them without you ever mentioning it, it means a deep-level fusion is taking place. And pay very close attention to how this person behaves when someone else shows interest in you. They might not say it out loud, but their body responds, their voice changes, they look away, or they fall silent. And that silence speaks. Jung would say, this is where the shadow appears, the part of ourselves we don't control, but which reveals what we truly feel. If you notice restrained jealousy, if you sense a quiet discomfort or a subtle need to claim space without aggression, what you're witnessing is the unconscious revealing its desire for exclusive connection. Another subtle but powerful sign emerges when that person can share silence with you without feeling awkward. It's not about filling the air with words, but about simply being, just being. Jung believed the soul finds rest in the presence of someone with whom it doesn't need to explain itself. If you both can exist in silence without forcing it, if a peaceful stillness surrounds you even when no words are spoken, that presence is speaking louder than any conversation ever could. And if amidst all of this, they have shown you any of their wounds, their mistakes, their broken parts, listen closely. That is not something shown to just anyone. Jung said, humans only reveal their shadow to someone they perceive as a symbol of transformation. If someone opens up to you like that, it's because deep down, they feel you're a safe space for their most vulnerable truth. Don't take it lightly. There's more. So much more. The unconscious is an ocean of symbols, of hidden gestures, of invisible pulses. What comes next goes even deeper. Because when someone longs for you with their soul, their truest language isn't spoken. It's revealed in every act they can't control. Sometimes, a connection is most clearly felt in unexpected moments, like when you're absent. Jung explained that the unconscious gains clarity when something slips from view, when a person feels your absence more intensely than they can express. Their behavior shifts. Maybe they grow restless, more thoughtful, more distant from others, and the moment you reappear, their brightness returns, their lightness revives, as if your presence brought back a part of themselves that had been missing. That emotional shift isn't just nostalgia. It's the unconscious recognizing an invisible but deeply real bond. Sometimes, without realizing it, this person becomes your emotional echo. They don't just remember what you said. They begin to use your phrases, your words, even your tone of voice. This subtle mirroring is one of the strongest signs of unconscious resonance. Jung described it as a symbolic identification process, where someone starts to incorporate parts of you into their own story without knowing it. It's a way of keeping you close, of feeling near, even when you're not physically there. And there's a deeper expression still, the creative impulse. When someone is emotionally stirred by your energy, they often begin to create. They might start writing, painting, composing music, or just becoming more expressive for no clear reason. Jung saw creativity as a release valve of the unconscious, a way to channel what can't be logically explained. If you've noticed this person becoming more artistic since you entered their life, it means you're awakening inner areas that had long been dormant. There are also the moments of pause, not from indifference, but from silent observation. Some people, when feeling something profound, pull back a little, not because they don't want closeness, but because they're trying to understand what's happening within them. Jung said that when the unconscious encounters a figure that represents something archetypal or transformative, it doesn't respond with immediate euphoria. Instead, it responds with a kind of inward stillness. So, if this person sometimes gazes at you in silence, as if trying to decipher you, it's because their soul is working to give shape to what it feels. And when that connection is real, even physical spaces begin to shift. Jung spoke about how symbols also manifest in the environment. If that person starts inviting you to meaningful places, if they want to share personal spaces with you, their home, favorite spots, their most intimate corners, it's not just a social gesture. It's an unconscious way of opening their world to you, of emotional integration. Whoever shares their spaces also shares their story. There's another sign many don't recognize: the emotional tension before seeing you. If you know that person gets nervous, prepares carefully, or even avoids meeting for a while without a clear reason, don't take it as disinterest. Jung said the soul trembles before what it truly desires. Often unconscious love first shows as fear, as an urge to flee before surrendering to vulnerability. If someone seems to be wrestling with an internal battle before meeting you, it's because you represent something bigger than they've faced before. And when you finally meet, watch the body language at goodbye. A simple farewell is not the same as one where the body resists leaving. A step that remains halfway taken, a lingering last glance, an extra word that wasn't necessary but extends the moment. All of these are expressions of a soul unwilling to let go. Jung said the soul seeks permanence where it feels at home. And if the body doesn't want to leave, it's because the unconscious has found refuge in your presence. And we haven't even touched the most mysterious form. Coincidences that seem too precise appear exactly when you think about that person, and suddenly they write to you, or you dream about them, and the next day you see them.